Okay, so this is about the second or third time that I've done one of these. Um, and I didn't really have an intent on making this sort of video or anything like that in regards to this topic, but I feel like something really needs to be said. Um, in regards to this whole like NASCAR 21 ignition, bullshit, if you want to say that. I've been debating if I want to even make this because I feel that anything that I say, nobody will take it as I'm giving my honest thoughts and opinions, and I'm not just trying to rant, but I'm also trying to help the NASCAR gaming community all at the same time. The NASCAR console gaming community, as a matter of fact, and it's just frustrating to me how I don't even trust myself with like the other two recordings that I've done to even warrant making a video out of it. And so I've essentially saved up all the points that um I wanted to talk about when the 2022 update came out, and I even mentioned it in like two of the recordings that this 2022 update isn't going to save the game. And from what I've seen and heard, that is the literal case. And to me, I'm not even surprised at this point. Because the thing is that we've played NASCAR 21 Ignition for well over a year at this point. By the time this video comes out, it might be a year. I mean, I'm recording this the day after the 2022 update came out. So maybe this video will come out like October 8th or something like that, because it's October 7th right now. But I feel that in the previous two recordings, I got way more angrier than intended, and I didn't mean to do that. I didn't really mean to get angry, and I feel like people, whenever YouTubers, show anger in their voice, they're just whining and bitching about this stuff, and I don't want to go into it all, but I feel people really don't understand that, and people just need to understand that this game could definitely be better. It's just these are the things we want the developers to do to fix the game and make it obviously better. And in the case of motorsports games, they've taken zero of that feedback because the game is still in the same state. I'll briefly go over the points that I made. This might be a short video, this might be a long video, I'm not too sure, but I made some points um, before the 2022 update even came out that I thought I would just touch base on and just go on ahead and say my piece about it no matter what. Um, because there's a lot of things that I said, mainly just anger in all honesty, in regards to this whole thing. And one of my biggest pet peeves is when we voice our displeasure about something, when a community voices their displeasure about something and they completely get ignored and people just skim over the complaints they're, giving out. Um, and that's why I'm making this, because I want people to understand what I want changed with the NASCAR 21 ignition that I don't know if is going to happen, since it's been a year and we've been asking for the stuff that I'm probably going to be talking about, and nothing's changed. So I guess we'll get into the main topic that, well, at least for me, but the topic that I've wanted to discuss for a long time. And if you watch my NASCAR 21 ignition videos, you know that this is the number one thing I hate within the game, is the caution system. The caution system within NASCAR 21 ignition is a joke, and I wish I could say that lightly. I really wish I could. I really wish I could say that, it has some flaws or whatever, but it doesn't have some. It has a lot of flaws. One of my big pet peeves about the caution system is how, on the first caution, if you're at a big track and the first caution comes out within like 3 laps, like 5 or 6 drivers randomly towards the back of the pack get lapped, when the second caution comes out, everybody else up until 12th get lapped. Then if a third caution comes out, everybody from 4th down to 12th are lapped, and the top 3 don't get touched. And I really don't know how often I would have had to say or voice my displeasure about it, but I feel like motorsports games could easily fix that. They could easily fix that issue, and they just refuse not to. They just refuse to fix it. And it boggles my mind because it's been in the game since launch. Whereas I could play NASCAR Heat Evolution, which is like the second worst game, or NASCAR 2011, which was the title holder for the worst game for like a decade, and then NASCAR 21 Edition took the reins. But I can at least play those games, and the caution system won't put you a lap down randomly. Like, it won't do that. If you get lapped by the leader and the caution comes out, that makes sense. Get the free pass, and you're back on the lead lap. What doesn't make sense is how the AI that are lapped spawn around, or not spawn, but restart around you. And when they restart around you, the lap cars, you already know by then that, yep, you're lapped. And there's nothing you could do about it other than get up to the front and try to pass the leader to unlap yourself, which is why, in all honesty, guys like What If Racing and pretty much just What If Racing didn't run cautions within his career mode, because it's just frustrating. And I wanted to reach out to them. I wanted to reach out to guys like Real Ratman, What If Racing, and a few others to get their take on this, but I feel like this is my point of view. This is what I have to say, and I feel like that if I ask them, it won't be all me. But again, they've said their piece as well. But I was thinking about it, but then I was like, you know what? I'll just make it myself. I won't reach out to them and waste their time or whatever. I'm a nice guy. But the thing is like, I don't know how you can mess up the caution system in the way the NASCAR 21 Edition does. And a lot of people wonder why I complain about it, and that's the main reason, because the cautions are like a huge part of NASCAR. Whenever a wreck happens, they throw the yellow. That's what it is. Nobody gets punished for it, except the guy that brought out the yellow, obviously, but nobody gets lapped in that sequence. Yet, in this game, you do get lapped. And the top 3 never get touched when everybody else gets lapped, when it's under yellow. You can go through the whole race even, and you can quite literally lap people like one time in like a 20 lap race, and it'll count them as being like 2 or 3 laps down when you never saw them for the second or third time. And it's shit like that boggles my mind, because it boggles my mind how they don't see this as an issue, when we know for a fact that they see this as an issue. They just don't want to acknowledge the fact that this is an issue. If they did do that, they would have to take more responsibility. There you go. But that's not just the one thing that I'm most annoyed about. I'm also very annoyed about the AI. The AI, especially with this 2022 update, are even fucking worse. I told myself I wasn't going to drop the F-bomb, and then I ended up doing it, so that was thrown out the window pretty quickly. But the AI, from what I've heard from many people, not by them telling me, but just from people just saying something about it, the AI somehow are worse in the game. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. The AI before the 2022 update, they were OP at a lot of tracks. Like, if you try to play on the highest difficulty extreme and you were the best car, the best team, you're running like 30th, 5 seconds off the pace every single lap, barely holding on to 30th. You bump it down, you're immediately fighting. You're just like immediately in the lead. Like, the AI difficulty doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and I hate that, because there should be a balance in between that. There should be easy, normal, hard, champion, extreme, and extreme is kind of like the 110 difficulty setting for F1. Um, but like NASCAR style, they wouldn't obviously say that, but that's technically what extreme would be. Extreme in this case is like 200 AI. That's their level 200 AI. Like, and you're stuck at level like 10 the whole time, and it just doesn't make any sense. But minus the difficulty issue, the thing I hate about the AI the most is just how easy it is for them to turn you. They can turn you so goddamn easily, it's not even funny. You can drift up the racetrack, and in any other game, they would either go up the racetrack with you or they would back out of it to prevent a wreck from happening. In this game, they don't lift, they don't do any of that. They just keep turning you, and until you spin out, then they'll slow down. Other times, you'll be stopped on the racetrack and you'll get plowed into, and well, if you watched the Dover video, you know how frustrated I was at Chris Buescher for doing that. But like, it's stuff like that that gets under my skin. It also doesn't help the AI. Some tracks don't even recognize that you exist, and then they'll just like drift up into you and still turn you, or uh, especially like in practice or whatever, they are coming out of the pits and you're on a lap, and they'll just come up the racetrack, and because they have this line that they're programmed to follow, they obviously aren't programmed to not go up into the line, the racing line essentially that you're on, and they're not programmed to go anywhere else. They're programmed specifically for that, and that is how motorsports games made their AI, by putting them on a predetermined line. So when they do that, once practice happens and they're coming out of the pits, they can just turn you at will, keep their speed all the while you're trying to save your car. They literally don't lose any speed. They don't get any damage. It makes no sense. It makes zero sense. And I don't understand how that got through the play test or whatever, and how they thought that was fine. You don't, like, you have to give the AI more freedom. You can't just have them run on a predetermined line. Like, the whole idea of NASCAR racing is for the drivers to pick different lines and whatnot to see if they can get an advantage. And in previous NASCAR games, I'll even say this, in Heat 4 and Heat 5, the AI ran different lines. They ran different lines so they could try to get the upper hand on you. Easy peasy, right? But it seems like the motorsports games doesn't understand that. So then they just have them run the predetermined line and going for practice, obviously. Um, but then like you go into the race and you'll be following the racing line. The AI will be at the bottom of the racetrack, and again they'll drift up into you. They don't try to like save their car or anything like that. You'll be perfectly fine, and then just out of nowhere they'll just go up into you. No, they won't even drift up. They'll literally go down the racetrack and then go up the racetrack and hit you and spin you out, or just spin you out as a whole. At certain tracks, they can quite literally just dive bomb into a corner and almost wreck you. They don't even recognize that you exist going into certain corners. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me how someone over motorsports games tested this game and thought that that was okay. It makes absolutely zero sense. The other thing that really boggles my mind is stage racing, and I haven't actually seen it for myself because I don't want to, but it seems like stage racing, from what I've heard, is still busted. And what I mean by that is the top 10 drivers, they're the people that finish in the top 10 in both stages 1 and 2. That is the points that they get at the end of the race. Because then you have people getting like 1 or 0 points, which doesn't make any sense because that's not how it works. And apparently that issue still exists today, and I just don't understand how they have that as still an issue. It just doesn't make any sense to me. The tracks, in all honesty, they are good if you have the right difficulty for the AI. There's like no balance in between certain tracks for the player versus AI. The AI play on, like, I mean, I've pretty much said it this entire video. I just haven't said this term, but the AI play on different settings compared to the player. The player plays on different settings compared to the AI as well. Well, actually, vice versa. with the AI playing on different rules compared to the player. And it shows when you literally boot up into a race on NASCAR 21 Ignition. They don't give you room. They slam into you. They constantly try to turn you at every which way possible. They dive bomb every corner. They dive bomb every corner NASCAR Heat 3 style. And it's just infuriating. It's infuriating to know that this is what has happened. And this is what I feel has hurt the game. That has hurt this game, as a matter of fact. I really do feel that. I really do feel that with the AI, it plagues the game. But with, that, obviously there's, tons of other things. Like the amount of like the dozens of bugs this game has that they still will not patch. Again, the caution bug, the stage bug, the goddamn AI bugs, like all that stuff, they don't even bother fixing it. And I don't understand it. The audio issues on PC, like, how do you guys not fix that within a year? I literally am so sick and tired of driving down a straightaway and I literally can't even hear my own car because I hear everybody else's car essentially like hitting the rev limit, but it's like doing a quick hit rev limit, then regular speed or whatever. Like regular, like what the rev limit should be at because of the speed that you're going, but it doesn't like a quick motion. Like I'm sick and tired of hearing that. It basically gives me a fucking headache every single time I hear it because it's just a constant fucking for every fucking car that goes by you. The moment a car pulls up next to you, that's the first thing you hear. It is the most obnoxious and annoying fucking thing in the entire goddamn world, and I don't understand how they haven't fixed it, obviously. I know I said I wouldn't make this video that long, and essentially I've gone under 20 minutes, which is a surprise for me even. But I feel like that those points are the ones that I wanted to point out because I feel like everybody else has pointed out all the other issues within the game. Mainly guys like What If Racing, Real Rabman, I'm pretty sure even Michael Roots says something about it. Black Flags Matter, IDK player says something about it. I don't think Winbow 8820, maybe Winbow has said something about it, but mainly on social media he has. Just in general, like the whole NASCAR community says something about this, and when I get a comment from Mandudo3 that's like this, and he's basically saying how literally nothing has changed from 2021 to 2022, like with the updates, obviously, that just shows that Motorsports Games only cared about bringing in the cars, and they only wanted to put them in just to put them in because everybody gave them so much backlash for it. When in actuality, we gave them backlash for making a shit game. That's essentially what we gave them shit for. I want Motorsports Games to do better, but I've lost all faith, essentially, with just how terrible the release was and just how terrible this game has been through the year that we've had to deal with it. I'm not looking forward to what's next with this game. I don't know if they're going to fix all these issues. It'd be great if they could, but this is Motorsports Games we're talking about. Who even fucking knows if they're going to do anything, so always had to wait and see. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys think that NASCAR 21 Ignition is better than what it was at release? I mean, I think it's a little bit better than it was at release, but it's still got a lot of glaring issues that, any normal gaming company would have found and identified pretty fucking easily. So, I guess that'll wrap it up for today. I know, again, I'm sorry this was short, but I feel like I wanted to point out the stuff that I feel are also a big issue compared to what everyone else, compared to what everybody else is saying. So thank you guys so much. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a great day, everyone. I love you guys. And goodbye.